We're finally here. We have made it. It's the Sixers season opener on the road as they take on the hated Boston Celtics. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge. Derek, Kyle, I'm Devon Bree, our president of basketball operations. As always, all of you, we have a new season. This is year 3 for us. Season number 3, well, 2.5 for me because I started a little bit later.
I love that you know to get out ahead of it and make the joke
before
yourself.
Derek got me, I had to say it, but it's great to be with you all. We are presented by Crooked Tea. Pick up your tea at a store near you. And Bet365, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We'll have our Bet365 pregame picks a little bit later in the show as well. The guys are waiting for the starting lineups to come out.
Furiously hitting refresh on 2 different devices.
We don't know what's going on.
Who the heck is starting tonight?
But hey, that means it's Sixers basketball, Kyle, because all of last year, we didn't know who was starting for the Philadelphia 76ers, but we are back. Everybody, is great to be back with you for another season. I just want to say this from the top, because last season we thanked everybody for hanging out with us all year long, and it was brutal to watch the games, but it was great therapy to speak with all of you, Derek, Kyle, Rich, and Bree, all season long, and you. So we can't wait to speak with you all again on night 1 of 82, where we expect it to be, hopefully, knock on wood, as Kyle always says, a much better season this year. And when we do that, they can't get off, Kyle, to a 3-14 start like they did through the first 17 last season. And with it, let's begin with Joel Embiid. Good to go for the opener. Your thoughts right out of the gate.
Well, not on the injury report, which is great, right? We were sitting here a few weeks ago saying, I don't know that he's going to be ready for opening night.
Yeah.
We do have to offer the caveat that he apparently is still on a minute restriction. I think we'll probably guess, 20 to 25 minutes, right, as they ease him into the season a little bit. But to build off what you're saying, Devon, I see Puppas in the chat says, it's midnight where they are.
Yes.
I have to be up in 6 hours. Instead, I'm sitting up in my Maxey jersey, ready to be heard again.
Let's go.
And a lot of that comes from the big fella looks healthy, looked pretty good in the only action we've seen him in. They have had a positively normal preseason for this guy, right? Bringing him along at his own pace. Every missed practice or partial practice was, as far as we know, part of his plan. They've been building him up. He's been doing more than we were able to even see or know for most of the preseason. And now it's go time. Now you play a real team, not Minnesota third stringers. We are all fired up around here.
Derek, your thoughts, man? No injury report, ready to go.
It really does blow my mind that we went through anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks of Joel Embiid playing in 5-on-5s and not a single setback. Now, could they be lying? I guess, but it doesn't really feel like it. Every time we go there, he's either going through the practice or at least looks like he was taking part in shooting drills or something. There's never been a day where it's like, oh, Joe's off his feet. So there's really, it's a weird, I don't know if I've felt like this in like 2 years at this point. Because even when, even before the Kuminga fall, like he was hobbling for quite a while.
Yeah.
And for him to look like, and like Kyle said, minutes restrictions, we'll see what it is. What he played 19 in the preseason finale, something like that. So hopefully it's a little more than that, but you're not expecting 30. That's fine compared to where we've been for the last.
Give us something. That's all I ask for.
Make me feel alive for a brief moment, and I think this will do it. No, it is. And look, there's going to be some question of, as Kyle and I sit here and refresh constantly, of who that fifth starter will be.
Still no starting lineup out, everybody.
Wait till like 7:15, guys.
Because both Paul George and Trendon Watford are out. So you've got 3 of your top 10 out of the lineup. And yet it still feels like this is the healthiest they've been in half a decade. I'm very excited for this to get started. I'm very excited to see who Nick Nurse does go with that 5th starting spot. But it is Sixers basketball is back.
George and Watford, as well as McCain, as everybody already knows. That's the injury report. Those are the only ones on the injury report. We knew about McCain. We knew about George as well. Even though we were a little bit wondering if he could play in the opener.
Starters are in.
And so just to be clear,
you won the prediction contest, Devon.
Barlow gets the start.
Dominic Barlow is an opening night starter as a 2-way player for the Philadelphia 76ers. Full starting 5, Joel Embiid, Dominic Barlow, Kelly Oubre, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey.
Okay. So, I mean, look.
Nailed it, Devon.
At this point, it's we don't know who the starters are for the Boston Celtics yet. I know you guys are refreshing for that, but Kyle, it was simply when we made our choices there, it was about what you got from him, from everything that we had seen and heard from training camp to the preseason games, and the help, knowing that now Joel Embiid is there, you need the help on the glass. And while we think that Adembona and Joel Embiid pairing of that double big lineup, it's interesting, and even when we saw it in that one game and in the scrimmage that they had, it's interesting, but we also know that one thing Dominic Barlow has done better than Adembona is rebound. And he's versatile, where he can defend both 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So maybe he and Kelly Oubre can switch off at times if they get a little bit caught there, but he's going to be that one that's always having a nose for the basketball, and it's going to get in there. So when you have players like Tillman and Keita, and although I'm not Boucher, because Boucher I don't think is all that much of a hustle guy. He's just take the shots. But it's those types of players that he's going to have to be scrappy against them to secure those types of rebounds so you don't allow them to sneak in there, steal those floorboards. And that's why I thought Barlow should get the nod. The performance that he had, and again, having that help next to Joel Embiid and doing the dirty work while Embiid does the others.
And look, what did we talk about for a lot of this offseason with Justin Edwards, right? Some of these guys that are on the team that we had some form of hope for are just going to be there to be a fifth guy on the lineup, going to do the dirty work, hit some spot up threes, maybe in Barlow's case, play out of the dunker spot. You do not have to do a whole lot when you have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Then you add the number 3 overall pick. Then you have another guy in Kelly Oubre who can create, right? Get his own shot, is going to hunt his own shots for sure. So I think this is a great story, right? I think on the one hand, you say it's not the greatest thing in the world that a two-way player, a guy who's not exactly at the top of the pecking order in the NBA, is starting for you on opening night. I choose to look at it this way. Dominic Barlow came in this summer, like really wanted to play for the Sixers, specifically be on this two-way contract with Philadelphia, knowing there was an opening here. And everything we have heard, everything we have seen from camp and preseason, even scrimmages, is that Dominic Barlow showed up with the hard hat and did everything the coaches asked of him. He's being a glue guy. He's pounding the offensive and defensive glass. I think you have felt his size and athleticism whenever he's on the floor, right? And so when you're playing next to Embiid, and we know the limitations that Joel has had more recently with his mobility and not being as strong of a rebounder, needing some help there, Barlow checks a lot of boxes for the type of player you want next to him. The big outstanding question is, will he make enough threes to keep defenses honest when he's spacing the floor? But in terms of the energy guy, rebounding, athleticism, switchability even on defense, he brings a lot to the table. And I think he's earned this, right? There's no,
100%.
he, as much as anybody on this team across 4 preseason games, earned a spot in the rotation. And while the starting lineup might be a bit big for him, I'm very happy for him after how we saw him play in the preseason.
Yeah, I think all that's right. Like, I think Barlow is a great story. He's earned it. He has been one of the more consistent players in the preseason. He, was from the opening jump, that hustle was infectious. And I actually don't object to him. I'm concerned it's a spacing disaster with those
And I think
2
that's
through
fair.
4. I think the hustle is great. I think Barlow earned it. Like I said, I've questioned Kelly. I'd love Grimes to be in there. It's not even about like who should get more minutes or a bigger role. It's just the 5 players on the floor. 3 of them, I'm really concerned about their shooting, and I'm really concerned how it's going to impact Joe. Concerned how it's going to impact Joe and Maxey's 2-man game. That being said, if it doesn't work, you can have a pretty quick hook, sub someone in there, get a little bit more shooting. And also there's just not a great option. Like, all options are something they're going to, every person you put in that 5th starter spot is going to take something off the table.
Yeah.
When 2 of your really 3 players who are in your top 7 or 8 are out of the lineup, like, you're going to have to make some compromises. And it's, do you want Bona and that double big and also a non-shooter? Do you want Grimes, but then you're playing a little small on the perimeter, and especially against Jaylen Brown, that might not be what you want. You want Kelly's defense in there. I get that. Or are you going to, do something really weird out there? And there just isn't a great option.
Play smart, and you keep earning those minutes, and you'll get those minutes out there on the floor. Like Kyle said, It may be a little bit much for him in the starting role, but we're going to find out tonight starting in game 1 against the Boston Celtics. We're going to take a quick pause here, take our first break on the pregame show, once again, presented by our good friends from Crooked T and Bet365. When we come back, the other one that earned a starting role in this starting 5, VJ Edgecombe, the 3rd overall pick. We'll get to him and the new standard that Tyrese Maxey has talked about and what needs to be that standard beginning tonight against the Boston Celtics. We'll do all of that when we get back. It's the pregame show. First game of the season. Basketball is back. The Sixers are back, y'all. It's the pregame show right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. All right, and we got to tell you about some good people here of our presenting sponsors right now, and that is Bet365. Right now, you can go ahead, get ready for the pregame picks. Had a pretty good run last season, even though the team was bad. We had a pretty good run. We're looking to bounce back and do that again, and you need to be involved on Bet365 with us as one of the 90 million users worldwide. All you have to do is go sign up at Bet365. That offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. But it's going to be a heavy basketball night on this Wednesday night. Game day 2 of the season opener. So you got to jump on in there and take advantage of the 50% profit boost across 10 days that you can use. Plus, if your team goes up by 20 or more, bang, instant payout for you right away. So go sign up at Bet365. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up using code PHLY365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5. $200 right away for you to bet in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, everyone's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can and actually read what's in it? You can't, because most of them are ashamed to tell you. While they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about what's in their Crooked Tea because they brew real USDA organic tea for real flavor with 0 sugar, no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, you can just put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea, 0 sugar, real tea, fully transparent. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better is a strip sack at the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you.
Welcome back. Presented by Crooked T and Bet365. I haven't even asked, but we're asking now. Hit that like button, everybody. We're back. Baby. We got basketball back. Hit the like button. As I'm pointing down at the screen, I would say it's
point it up
this way. Hit the like button. It's not difficult. Hit the like button. You're in here. Just hit the like button. Let us know how much a great job Bree is doing. You love being back with us as the season has started. And most importantly, your basketball team has a meaningful basketball game to play with Joel Embiid out there. He was not out there, Derek, to start last season, as we've talked about. Tyrese Maxey made it a clear point at Media Day to discuss the new standard that this team needed to have to get back to playoff contention and maybe even more as they have their sights set on title contention overall. The new standard needs to begin tonight. Maxey pointed out a lot of things. Being tardy with your time, making sure that they openly are vocal on the floor and helping each teammate out, doing everything, checking all the boxes that needed to be done in order to win basketball games and succeed. The new standard with Joel Embiid back tonight, which is great. He's made it an emphasis this season. It begins tonight.
Yeah. And look, I know Kyle said this earlier, but it's real easy to have a new standard when you haven't played a meaningful game yet. Easy to pull that off. But I do think with Tyrese, it just comes so naturally to him. He steps into this role, and now that he's got the stature among the team, being a leader, setting that example, getting guys in line, it just seems like it comes very, very naturally to him. And I don't think I'm breaking any news where, with Joel, he's a little more of an introvert, doesn't necessarily want to lead through rah-rah speeches or anything like that. It is great that Tyrese, and this is why those two are such a great pairing, both on and off the floor. But Tyrese just steps up, and yes, it's all words. Yes, it's before the game, but I believe all of it's genuine. I think he really does set that example, set that standards, and I have no doubt about him going forward in that regard.
Well, and to bring the Barlow component back in, but also bring in VJ a little bit here. part of the messaging that we heard behind the scenes this summer, maybe not at press conferences, but certainly when you were talking to people in the organization, was this is going to be an open competition preseason. This is not, hey, the oldest guys on the team are for sure going to play. This is not the veteran guys who make more money or are just have more tenure with the organization or in the league are going to be handed roles because that's what coaches or that's what organizations tend to do. We were told this, and we still sat here and said, I don't know. I think Andre Drummond might play ahead of Adem Bona immediately. We're not really thinking about the two-way players. You're worrying a little bit about the Eric Gordons and the Kyle Lowrys of the world, maybe less so on that front, but certainly worrying that guys who are on the back nine of their basketball careers are going to be given too much time, too much space. Instead, what we've seen is the guys who have been in the gym all summer, the young guys who are playing hard in the pickup games, playing at Rico Hines runs in LA, working out with Maxey, those guys are getting the early opportunities. VJ Edgecombe is starting on night one, not just because he's the number 3 overall pick, but because he has come in every single day and left an impression on his teammates and on that coaching staff. And I think the other side of it is Justin Edwards is someone that early in the offseason, I think the organization was talking up a little bit like, hey, we're really excited for what Justin is going to bring to the team, what Justin is going to do. And we don't know ultimately how much he will or will not play tonight. But he went from a guy that I think we all viewed as he is firmly in the rotation, going to have a pretty sizable role on this team, to he barely played in the meaningful minutes in that final preseason game because he had a poor preseason, because he didn't take, at least yet, a noticeable step forward from last season, right? So a new standard and setting that does rely on your stars, does rely on just like, hey, show up every night and compete hard. But it also is having hard conversations and decisions with these guys where maybe someone feels like they should just be naturally promoted and moved up the ranks. Hey, it's year 2, year 3, whatever it might be. If you don't show up and perform, part of setting that standard is your butt is sitting on the bench while guys who are bringing results and production to the table are out there getting it done. So I think that starts these guys off on the right foot in terms of the professional and the competitive advantage they could have going into this year.
And so I mentioned the 3-14 start a little bit earlier that they got off to last year through the first 17. So just a little more context of how bad it was that we did not see coming, even though.
Does 3-14 not put it in a pretty good picture?
Well, we kept saying, all they got to do is win 5 in a row. All they got to do is win 5 in a row. Kyle,
I would have taken 2 in a row most of the year.
Yeah. Do you know how many times, though, they in that first 17, how many times they lost 5 in a row in that first 17? Twice. They had 2 5-game losing streaks in those first 17 games. And
what did they lose, like the first 7 or something like that?
They were 1-7. Okay. They won at overtime in Indiana on that Sunday when we were here that afternoon, and then they kept losing again. So they lost the first 2, defeated Indiana, and then they came back and lost the next 5, and that's how it went. Then the road trip happened, you remember, where they went out west. Bree and I were talking about that when that was November 4th. That's when Paul George played against Phoenix. And then they lost those 3 games out west against the Lakers and the Clippers, came home, lost a little bit more, and it kept going. And I bring that up not to scar anybody, open those wounds from last season, but once again with the standard that Maxey is discussing and what Kyle and Derrick just laid out, they cannot allow that to happen again, to dig themselves into the hole that they did a season ago and continue to try to climb out of that hole like they did. Now, we've talked about injuries to Indiana, injuries to their opponent tonight, Boston. But when you have that, there's openings for others, but you're not the only one that could occupy that spot. You have Milwaukee, Indiana, and Boston that are very well coached with still some talent there. The Miami Heat, very well coached. Detroit, a surprise team from a year ago, looking to maintain their spot and also move
level up potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while we look at the Sixers as a team like that, no one is going to walk in and say, oh, the Sixers are all beat up, we're going to take it easy on you. No, they're going to come in and they're going to try to destroy you because of that, and they cannot allow that to happen. And tonight is a big test for them because you are going against an undermanned team because of Jason Tatum's injury, the exit of Drew Holiday, Porzingis, and Al Horford. And while you are dealing with your own injuries, you now have to be the team to jump on a squad like this and take advantage of their injuries that they currently have, and you pick up the win. It doesn't matter how you do it. Yes, we will talk about the good and the bad, but you are a team that also needs to stack up. And as Kelly Oubre said yesterday before they left, they can't overlook anybody. They haven't done anything. They have to come back and prove once again to the fan base that they're going to be a much better team than what we saw a season ago.
We haven't brought up the Celtics starters yet, have
No,
we, on
no.
the show? No. So this is from Suchi Terada, who covers the Celtics for Mass Live. Peyton Pritchard, Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, and Kada are getting the start for tonight. So that, I think, honestly, if you look at it, Barlow might have an opportunity to really do some damage on the offensive glass early in this game, because this is not an overly big front court. We'll see if they can stretch Joel out a little bit, right? Like play a lot of – and the Celtics love to spread it out, drive and slash, and just get up a million threes. One of the things I was watching in the preseason, they did not shoot the ball very well in the preseason. And I know that when you lose Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, and Drew Holiday all at once – probably going to take a hit to your 3-point percentage. So we'll see how they look in first real action tonight on that front.
Your thoughts on this starting lineup?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Sixers should have a pretty good athleticism advantage and should be able to hit them on the offensive glass. I think that's about right. And then after that, like if they are able to get stops or are able to force turnovers, they should be able to run. And we saw a lot of that there in that fourth preseason game, that this is a group that can get out there and run, whether that's, hit ahead passes from Joel, which, gosh, I hope we see a lot more of, because I loved seeing that the other day, where that's forcing turnovers. That could be VJ sort of handling the ball in the break, so Max has a chance to run up there and get to open spots behind the line. That could be Maxey pushing the ball so that VJ has a chance to fly. But this is a team that should be able to run, and I hope we see a good chunk of that tonight.
All right, let's move on. One of the players that we're looking forward to seeing, he can run, he can jump. He can do a lot of things. Not the shooting as
He's
of
Superman.
Yet. He is Superman. But the shooting still has a ways to go. But, hey, we'll find out, especially with a lineup like this, of what it looks like. And that's the third overall pick, Kyle. VJ Edgecombe getting the starting nod. Had a fantastic summer and a great training camp in preseason. Absences to both Grimes and McCain early certainly helped out, but he didn't lose it once he was out there on the floor. VJ Edgecombe, what are you looking for from him in his very first test?
Well, number one, if he's matched up with Peyton Pritchard, I'm looking for him to exploit the athleticism advantage there, right? I want him to make, because Peyton Pritchard has turned himself into a really nice offensive player, right? I think has exceeded expectations since he came into the league. But what you have to do is move constantly, right? What we saw in that preseason finale where VJ was back cut, coming off of dribble handoffs with Tyrese Maxey, running the point at times, right? You want him to be involved a lot because you want to punish the Celtics for starting Peyton Pritchard on that front, right?
Yeah.
You will get worked on the other end. I think if anything right now, I'm more concerned with VJ as an on-ball defender, where that's just, he's over-aggressive, right? He's a rookie. He wants to make a lot of plays. And I think right now he's better as an off-ball disruptor, using his intelligence, getting into passing lanes. And I feel very good about him on that front, right? But mostly, I just want to see you're under the brightest lights you've been under so far, right? This is your first real game as a professional.
He's going to have some butterflies.
If you have to ride it out, right, like we saw in Summer League, we even saw early in preseason, sometimes you're going to miss 3 or 4 before you get the first one to go down. The important thing for him is if he does not get off to a hot start and he misses a couple to start, just keep coming. Stay within your lane, right? Don't get out of character. Don't take shots that are not your shots. Trust the offense. Trust your teammates. And play the way he has played since he put on a Sixers uniform, right? I think we have very few complaints about him other than the fact that we want to see him start making more threes. So getting a test against the Boston Celtics, even if it's undermanned Boston Celtics on the road on night 1, I think is a good welcome to the NBA moment. And then you ease into the rest of the season.
What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think for all three games that Maxey and VJ both played, first play of the game, first offensive possession of the game, VJ's bringing the ball up. They're running Tyrese off screens. How much do they continue doing that? How much do they continue trying to get Maxey off ball? How successful are they at getting Maxey free off ball? How well does VJ handle running the point? Like he's another player who averaged 3.7 assists, only 1.3 turnovers, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Probably someone who I'm also going to be in a year or two saying, I wish he took a few more chances like I did with Maxey earlier in his career, but this is certainly a problem of not turning the ball over. That's great to see with young players. I have a lot of confidence in his decision-making. I want to see how much he can create for his teammates, especially for Maxey, because I do think getting him off ball, getting him easy shots, getting him shots on a move, giving him closeouts to attack will all combine to make Maxey a much better version of himself. And then also just that shot, not whether it goes in, because that's a long-term project. But throughout the preseason, and Kyle's been on this a lot, he has not hesitated with those shots. Even though he only shot like 25% from threes during preseason, even though he didn't shoot a great percentage during summer league, he has not really hesitated. There haven't been a lot of record scratch moments with him. Lights are a little bit brighter now. Does that continue? I think those are the two things I'm focused on from the get-go.
With that shot, make them respect you. Knock down one, knock down two. Make them respect you where they have to close out a little differently. And also be careful with the dribbling around Pritchard and White in particular, and Brown. If he gets caught on that switch, make sure you protect that basketball because they're going to be overly aggressive trying to disrupt his timing, disrupt his dribble. If you have Hauser, take him because while he has the height, his foot speed, not all that great. You might be able to take advantage there. All right, let's get to our Bet365 pregame picks brought to you by Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Derek, we got to keep track of these this year. I think we did pretty well last year. Let's keep track of these here.
Gambling Givens, baby.
Yes, sir.
He's back.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it, everybody. Start the night off right. Same game parlay here that we have going on. And that is the same game parlay of a point spread of 5. The Sixers are a 5-point dog in this game. And I said, I'm not picking them in the money line to win the game. Just give me those points. I'll take that tonight for the Sixers. And also VJ Edgecombe, we talked about it yesterday, the over-under 11.5.
Right.
And I took the over because of what I thought Boston would do and how the Sixers might try to get out there. And as you said, both of you, run. He's going to get a couple points on the leak out. He's going to get a couple of those in transition. And now how do you generate the others? So I went with the over for the points of 11.5 of VJ Edgecombe. And the Sixers, I'm taking the points on 5 at Bet365 for the Sixers.
Are you guys surprised that they're a dog?
A little bit,
yes.
But it's... Look,
Home
I think people are skeptical
don't trust
of
the
Joel.
Sixers. Yeah, I know.
It's on the
restriction
road.
potentially.
Yeah,
No
there's a
Paul
lot of
George.
stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
I did that
5, though.
The other parlay you threw up there, Devon.
That was mine.
That was Bree's
Yeah,
parlay.
we didn't get there yet.
The
Yeah.
Magic Hornets Sixers money line parlay.
Yes.
Bree buying in on my Charlotte Hornets going into the year. My sleeper team
and my
in the
Orlando
East.
Magic.
There you go. And everyone's Philadelphia 76ers. So
make sure
Bet and Bree and Gambling Givens have planted their flags on
That's
opening
right.
night.
Good call, Bree. Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Get those picks in before tip-off tonight. Make sure you download the app. Get it on your phone. Very easy to navigate. Make those bets and get those numbers in. 5. Fine to be a dog. 5, though, I was like, and that's a lot of threes that have to go down for the Boston Celtics, I think, for it to be a 5-point win for the Boston Celtics.
I am really curious to see how Missoula adjusts with this completely different lineup now, without Tatum to drive the offense. Like, do they just fire him up, or
73s, man? 73s, get him up.
We're about to be out of here. Who's everybody picking tonight?
I'm picking the Sixers.
I am
think this
too.
is pretty.
I am too.
Sixers by 8 is my official
Sixers
prediction.
win this
By
game.
a million.
Hey, brand infringement over there.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. Make sure you hit the like button, like and subscribe on the way out. We are back after the game. Again, presented by Bet365 and Crooked T. We're back 10 minutes after the game goes final. We are going to be here with you for the PHLY Sixers postgame show. So for Derek, Kyle, and Bree, I'm Devon. All of you, Sixers, Celtics, coming up. We'll talk to you after the game right here on the postgame show, PHLY Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.